If the rake is too high, it's actually better if the pros aren't playing. It's actually better if the shit-loaded rake, it's actually better. $10 a hand blackjack. It's actually better if the rake is too high. It's actually better if the pros aren't playing. It's actually better if the shit-loaded rake, it's actually better. $10 a hand blackjack. It's actually better.
Fuck the pros. 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 Fuck the pros.
She said it, not me.
I've never said that in my life.
What a bomba pa you talk about?
I've never said that in my life. Me not smoke no ganja. I've never said that in my life. You wanna smoke it? Me not no problem with that. I've never said that in my life.
I don't really give a shit.
I've never said that in my life.
Distort, lie, whatever.
I've never said that in my life.
Lack of integrity, it's dishonest.
I've never said that in my life.
Fuck the pros.
I've never said that in my life.
Fuck the pros. 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 Fuck the pros.
Actually, if the rake is too high, it's actually better if the pros aren't playing. It's actually better if the shit-loaded rake, it's actually better. $10 a hand blackjack. It's actually better if the rake is too high. It's actually better. Actually better. Actually better. Actually better. Actually better. Actually better. Actually better.
Today's a tough day for poker stars. They raised the rake.
They also lowered the rake.
Oh, really?
They lowered the rake on time tournaments and they raised the penny. They went from 1 penny to 2 penny on other ones. But everyone's going nuts. They actually cut their time.
That was like a 100% increase in the
Well, the time.
It would be, right?
Yeah. Actually.
Welcome back. This is LOLstocks Radio. And first things first, I think congratulations are in order for Alex the intern, who won our own contest. Alex, congratulations.
Thank you. It was good to win my own car and also $25.
So last week, we were guessing the price. What would the ticker price be of Mazda? MZ, which one was it? So there's two of them. I think I accidentally threw the wrong one out there.
MZ Day.
Okay, so we were guessing the ticker price of MZ Day. Lots of people entered. Huge amount of interest was generated to win a fucking car. We're giving away a car out here, guys. Like, how many other podcasts can really say that? So tons of people entered. It's a huge deal. Made the newspapers. And, I mean, we can't predict the stock market. There's no way you can say this was rigged, okay?
Right.
The market's the market. That's out of our control. Somehow, Alex, you won, and you won your own car.
I mean, look, I know a lot about Mazda. I have Mazda cars, so I have a little bit of experience with that. Do you think this is going to be controversial that I won my own contest, my own car?
Well, we don't want things to look improper. So,
Right.
Alex, what do you want to do as far as the contest goes?
Well, I think it's fair if I roll it over to next week.
So
Or this week, I guess. So
that's
whoever wins the free roll will win the car and also $25.
okay. So you're gonna roll the 25 over as well.
I'm rolling everything over.
That's amazingly generous. Alex is going to be donating his winnings essentially to this week's free roll. So if you're out there now listening, you can still win the car. You can win last week's $25, and then we're giving away another $25 on top of that. So that's the free roll this week. We haven't decided what it's going to be. We'll be guessing some stock price, but we're giving away $50 and a car. That's amazing.
Not bad, yeah.
What else is going on today, guys?
Hey, buddy. How you doing, Traderuski?
Good.
Thomas, how you doing, buddy?
Great. Giving away a car.
Jason?
Living the dream.
Alex, are those like little polka dots on your shirt? Can you put it closer? That's a really, really handsome look at that.
I mean, you're always going to be commenting on my outfit.
Well, because you're the most fashionable of all of us, by far.
I don't know about you by far. Look at Jason over there.
We got a great show today, folks. Just a fabulous show. Let's get right into it. What's going on, fellas? How's everyone's week been?
Hurricane season. Hurricane season is here, and it kicked the shit out of the East Coast with verve. And a lot of us started living in second world circumstances last week, and it was heavy. And yeah, it's a funny thing. Like, it's amazing how our grasp on society kind of withers when the grid starts to go down. Like, everything got real loosey-goosey over here.
You bring up a very interesting point. Last week and the week prior, if you had tuned into the LOLstocks show, you would have known that Jason was at day 167 of not leaving the compound. Then Hurricane, I don't even know the name. It was a weird name. What was it called?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. Well, anyhow, so then the hurricane, it hit Florida, went up the East Coast, and I guess it went somewhat near the Jason compound. Now, tell me, did this impact your 167-day streak of not leaving your fortified compound?
By act of God, I had to go and re-up my gasoline supply. There was no avoiding it. It was.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
the streak is over.
No.
That's breaking news.
So what day was this?
When I left?
Yes.
Oh God, I think Thursday.
Okay, so Thursday. So if that's the
No,
case,
I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I thought it was Tuesday in the pre-show interview, but you know.
Well, there was a point. We had a quick call last week to kind of shoot the shit and cover some things, and there was a point of contention here, I thought, as to whether this even actually counts.
Well, Jason, explain you leaving the compound. What exactly happened? Where did you go? For how long? How far did you travel?
Man, it was sporty. Like, I had to get in the car, I had to drive it to a gas station about 6-7 minutes away, and you know, it's been a while. It's been a while out there, and I guess, you know, the world goes on without me because it wasn't, you know, the post-apocalyptic hellscape that I expected yet. But you know, I got my gas. I came home about 12 minutes later, and you know, resumed my watch.
So you were out of your house for like 20 minutes total.
At least 10. Yeah, I would say 12 is a conservative.
Did you just go to a self-serve pump? Did you have no human contact while you were out?
That is exactly what I did, and I didn't even consider an alternative.
I mean, it's kind of like a timeout if you want to take the side of it that this doesn't count. It's an act of God, no choice in the matter. But
did you wear a mask when you got out of your car?
Yes, I did. I did. Even though I went at like 10 o'clock at night and I knew nobody else was going to be out there, why roll the dice? You know, like, I just, you know, why make yourself a target? You know what I mean?
And you didn't go into the little Quick Mark and get like a Snickers bar or anything?
It's a death trap in there. You got to be kidding me. Everything's completely saturated in the virus.
Wow. So listen, I
abattoir.
I
let me say honest. Peter, let me just say one thing. You know, because I think like the spirit of it is he's not leaving. So if he said, oh, I have to go out and go to Starbucks or, you know, somewhere, this was like he had to go there just to get the gas because of this act of God. I kind of feel like, you know, the streak of him wanting to leave the house is still alive.
He went and had to get an essential service due to an act of God. You know, any insurance policy you have, there's a little carve out for an act of God. Peter, what was the term you used?
Force de jour.
He was forced de jour out of his compound for 12 minutes, and then he was back. I think that doesn't count.
I'm going to take a different approach. He left the compound. He very well could have been exposed to this Asian virus. Okay, being out there. Okay, the Asian flu. Yep. I mean, he left the house. He got in the car. He saw there was other humans in the around. Were there any other humans at the pump? Like, even if they were kind of far off?
I didn't see anybody. It was absolutely.
Was there somebody in the store with a little light on, sitting there reading a magazine, waiting for people to come in?
Maybe the lights were on, but I didn't look inside too much.
See, that's the key point.
Eye contact, like, you know.
I mean, we're going to take a majority vote here, but since the lights were on, that's the determining factor for me. I say it resets at 0. You know, on Tuesday or Thursday, whenever he left. That's my vote.
I mean, I'm sticking to the facts. You leave the house, you left the house, period. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Listen,
So Alex, you say that it shouldn't count.
the lights were on, but that doesn't mean somebody was home. So
All right, Trader Ruski, you say it shouldn't count.
I say it shouldn't count. I think the spirit of it is he doesn't want to leave the house. You know,
Well, then
so
you know
the
what we're
only
gonna have.
reason Yeah.
What we're gonna have to do is, since I don't know if Jason can cast the deciding vote, do we have a phone number? Maybe somebody listening can call in, and we'll let a user actually determine whether this streak resets or not.
We don't have that yet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is
Do we
there,
have a
nine, is there 9 simple steps somebody can follow to zoom in?
There are 9. I mean, it is so easy. You call this number, and then it asks for the meeting number, and you punch in that 10-digit code, and then it asks you your password, and you punch in that 6-digit code, and then you stand by in the waiting room and wait to be lit. I mean, it's very simple. Only takes like 20 minutes. So if you want to join the show that way, by all means, go to LOLstocks.com. There should be I posted a thread a few hours ago with instructions as to how to join our Zoom meeting. But otherwise, guys, I'm just going to have to get all this stuff sorted out. So we'll have an official call-in number next week. I'm on record, I promise.
Okay, well, do you want to go with that for the show? That hopefully somebody will call in, they can decide to vote, or should we let Jason be the decision-making, cast the tie-breaking vote?
He's too close to it. Okay.
Huh? They could post in the chat too, potentially, if you know.
All right. Anyhow, next up, while we I guess decide on that, during this was Friday night, Alex, the intern, and I were just having a random Friday night call, and as things sometimes happen in life, it just led to some more nonsense and then more nonsense. The next thing you know, we were discussing a very interesting prop bet that the two of us began talking about, and then we decided on we basically decided on almost everything except for the exact date it will take place and some other small technicalities. Alex, the intern, why don't you start off by telling us or telling the users, the listeners, the viewers what we are doing, and then I'll chime in.
Okay, so basically, Brandon and I are going to trade places for 4 to 6 weeks. We haven't decided the exact amount of time, but I will go to Vegas. I will be staying in Brandon's apartment, which I've never seen or been in. Brandon's going to come to Chicago or wherever I live.
Look at you. We'll edit it in.
You won't say.
Wherever you live, okay.
And he'll be staying in my apartment.
Which I've never been to.
He's never even been in the city, so that'll be interesting. And then we'll each have a starting bankroll, and whoever can make the most amount of money in our respective cities in that time of frame will be the winner.
How long are you gonna be doing this for?
It's gonna be somewhere. We've decided it will be at minimum 4 weeks and probably maximum 6 weeks. That seems like the right amount of time.
Right.
And
but we have to do it sometime when things are back to normal. It has to be after the pandemic.
Sure.
You know, we have to be able to gamble or do whatever to make money.
We both agreed neither one of us wanted to do this during the summer. Okay. I didn't, he didn't want to be in Vegas, which I don't blame him during the heat. And I don't want to be in Chicago when it was hot.
Or wherever he lives.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry. Wherever he lives. We'll edit it in the archives. So we thought maybe spring, but with all that's going on, I don't want to be there wearing a mask and possibly, it probably won't happen, but they're even talking here about another lockdown in Vegas. It's just too uncertain right now. So considering, again, we don't want to do the summer, we decided on sometime in the fall or early winter of next year that this will take place. And again, I've never been to the city that he lives in. I only the airport. I've literally been in a plane a couple times in an actual airport, never left the airport. So I'll go there. He'll come here. It'll be 4 to 6 weeks. We each have a set amount of money, probably around 10,000, I think is what the starting bankroll will be. And we're only allowed to bring a small or whatever size suitcase that can be carried onto a plane. So it's not like you can bring all your possessions and he can transform, my abode into his comfortable home. No, it's not going to be that way.
It's kind of hard to even bring enough clothes for 6 weeks in just a carry-on.
Especially look at how he dresses.
Why?
Very, very preppy.
Why is this a stipulation? Why can't you check a bag?
Yeah.
That's not as fun.
Okay. You're just trying to make the bet even more interesting to move to a completely new city and swap places with.
I think it was just so you couldn't pack like all your little comfort things, because Alex probably has a high-tech cappuccino maker he'd want to bring, and maybe something that like you just put an orange in, and all of a sudden it's the freshest juice that that the Midwest had. Whatever, those kind of things. Okay, that's what I think. Okay, and it's fine with me. I'll do a carry-on. Do you have a washer and dryer at your place?
You know what? I just thought about that. You're gonna have to go into my basement and put some quarters in, because I don't have one in my unit.
Wait, are you kidding? I have to go like the common. Oh
Yeah.
my! You never told me that.
Well, I didn't want to scare you away, but I mean.
All right. So there's some other things that we're gonna talk about while we adjust and discuss the rules. One of them being that we're each gonna report to somebody, like kind of like a chaperone in a way, every day, and that person will know how we did for that day, meaning what our win or loss total is. But the other person won't know, meaning Alex won't know necessarily every day how I did, and vice versa. So we'll be going to sleep at night, some nights, most nights, not knowing if we're behind, ahead, what the other person did, to kind of add some intrigue to it. Then on top of, obviously, the shenanigans of us literally going to strange cities, in my case, the city I've never been to. Alex has been to Vegas before. We're also going to have a bet between us to literally who comes back. It can be $1 more, whichever one of us comes back to our homes after 4 to 6 weeks with more money. We said so far we both agreed to put up at least a minimum $25,000 each, but it could be a little bit more. It could be a lot more. But right now it's going to be at least 25,000 is what we said, right?
It'll be a substantial bet.
Okay.
I want to do an amount that we're both a little bit uncomfortable with. So I think 25,000 each betting each other would be a good amount.
Now, the only other thing that we're gonna talk about, and then eventually when all this is decided, we'll post it on the forums. There's some certain rules that we have to put into place to make things fair. So, for instance, when Alex, the intern, comes here, he'll literally be staying at my humble abode within a mile of 50 casinos. Okay, at least, maybe even 60 to 75. Whereas when I stay at his home, the nearest casino is 19 miles away and it's in a different state. So, for example, one rule will be that we're going to cap the amount of time each of us can spend in a casino, whether it's daily or weekly, to kind of balance that out.
You can only gamble so many hours per week. And after that, but you can make money however you want. So after that, if you want.
So technically, I could apply in advance for a job selling Lexuses in the Midwest, and I can show up and I could be selling cars, and I don't even step foot in a casino, or I can get a job at
commission. You could go on the street and do panhandling, whatever it takes.
Yes.
The only stipulation is you can't do anything illegal.
Oh, right. Okay, so selling meth is out.
Can't be selling meth. Can't be swinging that yayo. None of that stuff.
All right.
Get rich on the stock market.
There goes my strat. Yeah, get fucking rich. Hey, listen, if any of you guys, want to like sell me a percent of your side bet, maybe we can work something out. Where in my back testing program that I'm working on, if that starts generating some real returns, some real gains, I can help your side out.
But this has a lot of interesting angles. So say I find out with 3 days left that I'm ahead of Alex by $6,000. What do I want to do? Do I want to press it, or do I want to know, like, knowing Alex only has $4,000 left and he has to get to this amount, maybe he'll go broke. There's a lot of interesting factors. Dynamic.
Also, we're going to be subtracting all of our expenses. So Brandon goes to a Bears game and has some high-end meals. He's subtracting all that from his bankroll.
Do they have high-end meals at Bears games?
That was a Bears game.
More
high-end meals.
I would bet you, though, in this era, I could probably find someplace in, what is it? Is it still called Soldier Stadium, right?
Soldier Field, yeah.
Soldier Field, where they probably have high-end sushi, like in one of the luxury parts of.
Hold on a second. Are basic living expenses being deducted too? Are you guys covering
one bankroll for everything?
What about rent, utilities, groceries?
Yeah, they're paying their own rent, I think.
Well, groceries for sure, but okay, so rent we're excluding that.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, it won't be part of the bankroll.
Rent, gas, cable, the basic things that I have to cover will just be done, and say we'll each do before we leave. But food, that's coming out of the bankroll. Say little buddy wants a brand new polka dot shirt because he got something on, spilled something on his. That's going to come out of the bankroll.
Okay.
Yep.
And this is
So I
on an
think
honor
what-
system.
No, it's not. We're actually going to have a chaperone that we're going to have to report to and give details to. I mean, to an extent, it's on an honor system because, I mean, I
Your
guess...
chaperone's not going to follow you everywhere and
Well, Alex
do
had an
full
idea for
accounting
that.
and forensics.
Well, Alex, explain what your
Well, we
rebuttal to
will
that
have.
is.
We are going to have a tracker on each of our phones, so at any given time, you can see where we went that day. If we went to the casino, we went to some restaurant, whatever.
Wow.
But yes, I mean, I've known Brandon a long time, and I trust him. He trusts me. We're not going to, try and fuck each other that way. But
Okay.
yeah,
The only thing I was thinking, the
accountability.
one interesting thing I was thinking is this, okay? And we didn't even discuss this. I'm just mentioning this now. We could, in theory, have somebody meet us upon arrival in the respective cities and check us for the amount of money that we have on each other, just to confirm we have a certain amount.
Yeah.
And, we can each bring one credit card in the event of emergency or an event we went bust. No bank cards, no checks, nothing like that. And that would kind of be interesting, kind of like a weigh-in where everyone's just confirming we have the same amount of money. You can send one of your trusted Midwest friends over to meet me, and I could do the same thing. There are a lot of ways, but nonetheless, yeah, like Alex, the intern, just said, there's no concern over that. Like, we're not going to cheat. It's going to be fun. It's going to be enough money that it's going to kind of sting to whoever loses. But and then of course those in the forums can make bets amongst each other, and
I have to say, go ahead, man.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I think too, just when, is every day at 10 p.m. the number going to be given? Is it once a week? I mean, that's where there a lot of action could be. Would there be a buyout? Could you make an offer before the number's announced and then after? I think there's all these kind of meta.
Right.
things
We
that
have
do that.
this just was a discussion less than 48 hours ago, so we haven't decided all those things. But yeah, there'll be. I mean, either way, I guess to answer it simply, if I went to the Midwest and after 1 week I wanted to come home and that would just be it, it would have to be, I would imagine, a significant amount of money I'd have to pay, because at the very least I can lose, but the whole point is also to have to stick it out, the entirety of the bet, for me to be in a strange city for 6 weeks. And I'll even say right now, before this even begins, as of right now today, Alex would have to be a favorite only because he's been here, and that's part of the edge. He's been, how many times have you been to Vegas?
Probably 7 or 8 times.
Okay. And I've never been other.
I think putting that cap on the number of hours you can gamble kind of equalizes things a little bit.
But it does, but you've also been here. So it's still different.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can
imagine what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to get on a plane. I'm going to fly to a city which I've only been to the airport. I'm going to take an Uber, Lyft, whatever, to a location I've never known. I've never been there. Know nothing about the city, how to navigate, how to get around, and apparently where you live, it's not really conducive to driving. Like having a car, is that kind of correct?
Yeah, that'll be a learning curve. I mean, right now I'm doing street parking, and if you park on the wrong street at the wrong time of day, you're going to get $100.
Whereas here, you have literally 50 places that you can park for free for 6 weeks.
Well, you do now. I mean, it only recently is a lot of this stuff free parking.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you still could. I mean,
are you talking about like strip malls and stuff? Or are you talking about casinos?
Well, no, but even like you couldn't park at the Caesars properties or the MGM, but there was still enough. Like Palazzo was still free.
Only 90% of the casinos that fall under Caesars and MGM. You mean?
Well, I'm just saying, if you wanted to be kind of ingenious about it, you could find free parking.
Okay, yeah, I suppose that's true. That's fair enough. This seems like a prop bet. This seems like one of the more fascinating prop bets I've heard about in a long time. That's pretty wild, moving to an entirely different city and living in someone else's house.
I mean, I don't think this has been done before, where there's, like a trading places.
It does remind me of other like outlandish prop bets, like biking across 3 states, or like living in the bathtub, or what are some of, like running 100 miles on a treadmill in a certain amount of time. This one's kind of a long-term one though, or like the Ultimate Sweat,
What about the guy that had what about the guy that had the titties implanted in him? You guys
Sure,
remember that one?
That's a classic one. Sure.
What was that one?
I just saw him on the Man Show like a very long time ago, where he showed
someone
them off.
offered him. I want to say it was significant, but not enough for me to do it. I think it was $100,000 to have implants put into his chest.
Yeah, he got breast implants.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, before, yeah.
Well, you know, this wasn't our original idea for a prop bet. Brendan, do you remember what our original bet was going to be before we decided?
I don't. I mean, I probably do, but tell me.
Well, so originally what we wanted to do was I would go to his place in Vegas. He would come here to where I live, and whoever left first would lose.
It'll last longer. That's way better. Just do that.
But the problem was I have certain right now at this time certain responsibilities that I have to take care of that I couldn't be gone. Well, because this is the thing. Maybe someone else I'd do it, but knowing him, and we were talking about this, he might just say, you know, he would just 8 months, nothing, no problem. 10 months a year. And I you know, normally I'd be the same way. Could I like live in a certain Midwest city and explore it in the restaurants and the sports and the subway system and, you know, the nightlife? Of course I could, but I have responsibilities here that would affect me. That I'd be like, shit, I you know, how much longer? It's not me. It's other people that depend on me. So I couldn't at this point in my life. But that's a great bet too for one day.
Okay, fair enough.
Would definitely win with him knowing that at some point I just couldn't. Like, you know, I could go a few months. I can go 6 months. But, you know, if we get to a year, it's like, come on, I got to, you know.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So that was the original bet.
Favorite.
So okay. Anyhow, seriously serious. Knowing what you know, and you can use inside information. You know me. You know, little buddy, the intern. What would you set the opening line right now on August 9th, 2020, 8:02 p.m. Pacific time? Who's the favorite?
I mean, I would give Alex the edge here. I would probably I'd probably say he's the favorite that's at the line of like -150.
All right, fair enough.
Slight favorite. I mean, the kid's a hustler. You know, I think he's got that kind of grit and determination where, you know, he'll figure some things out. He's a sly one too. I'm sure he's got some things up his sleeve.
Traderuski, what do you think?
Right, and I hear you, but don't underestimate the veteran.
Thanks, buddy.
So I'd probably say, yeah. I mean, I was thinking Brandon like -115, -120. That's kind of
that's my boy. All right, Jason, what's your feeling?
Let me tell you something. I met Brandon at the Commerce. He was walking away from the horse game, and he had a stack of chips racked up under his arm that he was having trouble carrying. And I was like, wow, what did you buy in with? And he was like, a rack. I will take Brandon over virtually anybody on a money-making bet, and I'll give him like 165, like -165 easy.
That's respect. Thank you, brother.
Well, you know what? Here's Brandon's problem. Brandon enjoys the finer things in life. And he's going to come here. He's going to be having $100 dinners every other night. Whereas I have no problem. I'll go to whatever your grocery store is, Safeway, get a ham sandwich.
Well, hold on. Were you not the one ordering, you know,
French food? He had French food delivered to his house on a
Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. Who's gonna have duck pate delivered to their house on a Tuesday?
Listen, I enjoy the finer things too, but I know how to buckle down.
Oh, you can rough it. Okay.
So let me mention this. So the one point of contention from Little Buddy, not my perspective, was he at first did not want to include any form of online gambling, because the point I brought up, and I was very honest, was, well, you know what? Say I know with 3 days left, I'm down 6,000, 8,000. It doesn't matter. I could easily load whatever my balance is with Bitcoin, you know, or buy Bitcoin onto like a site like ACR. And I could jump into 100, 200, even 200, 400 PLO game that goes almost every day at some point. And I could just take my chances with 4 cards, triple up, and then the bet's over. I know, and I told him I could do that. And so then after I said that may be a possibility, just to kind of get in his head a little bit, he's like, no online poker. And then he kind of backed down from that stance a little bit. But then I never agreed to no, and he never wasn't that adamant after that. So without me saying anything further, or him, now let me just say one last thing. It wouldn't be, and we both agreed, because I would never go to Chicago because I don't do it here.
Or wherever he lives.
Oh, shit. Wherever he lives. God damn it. Sorry. You know, I'm so good about this too. And then you have to say it once, and now anyhow, and I wouldn't sit there for 8-10 hours a day and grind online poker. It would only be like, okay, let me run it up. Like I'm going to do a never heave, like 30-minute run up, and that would be it. You know, I mean, I'm here during a pandemic, and I can't stand playing. You know, I have the WSOP, that's part of it, but I'm not grinding now because of you know. Anyhow,
well,
so what do you,
the reason I objected to it was I don't want you to come to the big city that starts with a C where I live and just be playing
Cleveland.
Possibly Cleveland, maybe Cincinnati, and just be playing online the whole time because.
But I wouldn't.
It's a
gift. Use it.
And it's okay. And also it's okay because we're capping the number.
Let's get some opinions here. Thomas, then Trader Ruski, then Jason. Thomas, should online poker be included if it's not like a daily, like 10, 12-hour nerd? You know,
I don't think you should do it at all. I think it's against the spirit of the bet. The whole point of the bet is you're going to a new city and you're trying to make it out there. Online poker.
But even if I wanted to record myself jumping into a high stakes game, and I'm just gonna,
Brandon, you can do that anywhere. Like it's not specific to whatever city Alex lives in.
I'm not gonna find no 200, 400 PLO in Indiana. No chance.
That's the whole point. Yeah, to get by with.
But he would find that here. He would be able to go to Bellagio
but we have a fixed bankroll, so I can't play 200
okay. All right. So Thomas votes no online at all, whether it's online baccarat. I mean, I could go to one of these sites and play one hand of. Okay, fine. All right, vote is.
You can go to Indiana and play baccarat too.
Your opinion is noted. Trader Ruski, what do you think? Be honest.
No, I mean I agree with Seriously Serious in that if you can do it from where you were before, then it shouldn't. You know, and I think that's why I guess the gambling has to be whatever the biggest regular game is, that should be the buy-in that Alex should be able to play, right? So if it's max, 510 or 2.5 or whatever it is locally, wherever that is, right? Don't you think that's fair on that side?
One of the fun, interesting things about this bet is, Brandon, you were talking about getting a job at like a car dealership or these other like creative ways you're gonna have to come up with to make money. But if you start throwing online gambling into the mix, I mean, you're just gonna gravitate towards that. It is kind of just ruin the whole thing.
See, that's the thing. I wouldn't do it. It would only be something that I do like towards the end if I know I'm stuck like 5,000 or 6,000. Or 10,000. I'm like, you know what? Let me just, and I'd film it.
But how much more interesting would it be if your back was against the wall and you couldn't do that and you had to do something in Cincinnati or wherever Alex lives?
Cleveland, right? Okay. Well, the other thing is, I would really be fine with both of us having to get some kind of a hustle, like real job. But the only issue with that is we would both have to find a corporate sponsor that would agree to like kind of speed up the training and the HR stuff. Okay. So when we get there, we could start doing whatever we did for like half of the time. I don't want to go to a Midwest city that starts with a C and work for 6 straight weeks, like 8-10 hours a day. I want to be able to, but would I do it for like 2 weeks? Would I go to like a Dairy Queen or actually, no, it'd have to be some kind of tip-based or commission-based job. Because if not, it wouldn't make sense. Like,
sales would make the most sense.
Yeah, right. So if we could find, if anyone out there that's watching or listening, is a CEO or has some insight to like a company like that where we could both start off.
Right.
I think
that could be like a sponsorship opportunity too for Subway or someone like that, where you could both be working at the same store in your respective cities.
So I asked Seriously Serious during our pre-show meeting when we first mentioned this, if he would be willing sometime in 2021. So say me and the intern every day sent Seriously Serious like a 5 to 10 minute video clips, and then he could kind of put some music on it just to put some content out. Even every day, every other day. And he said as long as he wasn't trolling Negreanu too hard that day, he would be more than happy to do that for us. Is that still? Would you go on the record with that?
I think that should be doable. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as sponsorships and stuff go, I think this could probably get a great deal of mainstream attention. I've seen less interesting and less outlandish bets than this get some news coverage on like some big, large publications. I think this is something that could capture the imagination of America and really get some real eyeballs on this. I do think if we put out like some press releases or we talk to some people at some media outlets that This
You're
could
right.
this could be big.
I think it would be great, every day too, just like I said, for the content part that, I record myself we each record ourselves waking up or what time it is. We record at least one meal, like just kind of like a sample of each day. And then we actually have the content every day, especially since Thomas is going to be doing it, it'll be amazing. And then it will kind of be like a reality show, but it's going to be real. Like I can promise you that, none of it will ever be staged. It will always be real because I hate, I don't even watch reality shows because of, anything I think is staged and isn't 100% real. It's just a turnoff to me. And I think Alex would say the same thing.
Yeah. And we can have, fun little challenges along the way. Like maybe once a week we have to get a dinner that's $100 plus.
Or one day we have to like eat on a $10 budget.
Absolutely.
Or even better, we could just say, how about this? This day, whoever eats the cheapest in a 24-hour period wins X amount of dollars.
You should allow.
You could just not eat.
You should allow me and Jason. You should allow me and Jason to be like judges of the whole contest and let us throw in those challenges to give you guys some curveballs.
That'd be great.
You know what I mean?
I'm not eating no bugs or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But other than that, I would do and I'm not going to do anything illegal that's going to get me thrown in a Midwest city jail, and it would, starts with a C. But yeah, that would be great. The three of you could definitely do that.
I have a proposal.
Go ahead, sir.
Last week of the challenge, you are not allowed to do online poker. However, you can deposit $1,000 into an online brokerage account and try to YOLO your money up to get out of the pit.
Do what now with J-Lo?
YOLO it up, man. YOLO live once.
I don't know what that means. What does YOLO mean?
It means just, throw caution to the wind, say fuck it, and take a big shot.
Okay, so just kind of run it up.
Yeah.
So I want to buy $1,000 worth of Mazda because I kind of think tomorrow the Mazda stock's going to go way up. And
you can go for your OJ futures. You can do soybeans, whatever. It's like you can follow your dreams. But it's the last week. Whatever you want to do, you just chuck your money in, go for broke, and chips fall where they may. And if it gets you out of the hole, it gets you out of the hole.
Yeah, gamble on some penny stocks.
Sounds good. So what we're gonna do is
that's interesting contingency to have. You can do stuff online, but you're capped at a certain amount of money, so it's not predominantly online.
Sure. Okay.
I think that would be fair.
Okay. Well, like we said, we'll have a better idea when this will take place once there's either a vaccine or once herd immunity is built up. Once we know that we could openly travel, Alex doesn't want to come here and have to wear a mask everywhere, and just it's so uncertain the times, and poker isn't open completely, and many of the casinos here. Same thing in the Midwest. So that's what we're gonna wait. We'll have a better idea probably this winter, maybe next fall, as to an exact date. But definitely assuming everything is safe to travel and under control, and we're living in a different set of circumstances. We're thinking next fall, early winter, 2021.
Yeah.
Is that?
I mean, my thinking is if we do it in September or October,
sure.
The weather's nice here and the weather's nice in Vegas, so I think that would be fair.
All right. Well, we will keep all of the LOLstocks listeners apprised of the developments in this, and this is going to be an ongoing thing. And if any of you have any ideas, anything you want to add, challenges or rules or things that make this more interesting, Jason, what website would they go to discuss this?
I would suggest LOLstocks.com.
Very good.
And speaking of LOLstocks.com, we are having a free roll this week, and I was just thinking that in honor of this prop bet you guys are having, clearly inspired by the film Trading Spaces, which does have a tie-in to this show as well. Perhaps, Jason, you can inform me if this would work. Could the contest for this week revolve around orange juice futures? Is that a thing we could do, or is there something else that ties into Trading Places, the movie, that would be a good stock to predict for the week?
Pig bellies.
Pork bellies? Yeah.
Pork bellies. Yeah.
Let's see. There's a good pork belly future out there with our name on it.
Well, while we get into that, okay, and this will cover part of it, I think it's time for a new segment that we talked about last week with Jason. Seriously, you know what I'm talking about?
I believe I do. Jason, do you have something for us this week? And if so, I can roll the intro.
Yeah, roll that motherfucking intro. I got things to say.
All right.
This is bullshit.
Productions.
All right, Jason, you have the floor.
All right, look, in 1988, something was created that was called the Plunge Protection Team. And the Plunge Protection Team was basically a bunch of super elite financial wizards with first-person access to the president, and their sole responsibility was to make sure that the market doesn't go up in flames, pretty much. Now, they've been in and out of this, the spotlight for a long time. They've had a big role in resolving the 2010 issues. And then, you know, they kind of faded. The stock market kind of started acting normal again. And recently, long before the COVID crash, we started seeing the Fed do something called liquidity injections, which is where every night they would pretty much auction off huge sums of digital money, and it would go to various hedge funds and so forth, with the intention of injecting liquidity into the stock market, essentially pumping up stock prices. I'm not going to get into why this happened. I'm not going to get into the politics behind it. I'm not going to get into the fact that basically all of this is a Ponzi scheme. But what I am going to get into is that lately, since COVID hit, since we had our kneecaps knocked out of us in March, we're seeing a lot of the same names from the Plunge Protection Team in the past get cycled in for opinions on how to deal with what's going on now. And what's happened is we've normalized this welfare system whereby it's a given that we're going to keep on pumping money into the market, not to stabilize it, but to simply make the market bloated and insane. Like basically the market is at a pretty much all-time highs, damn near. And we're seeing people spike on earnings reports because they didn't fail quite as hard as they expected to. Like that's unusual and that's dangerous. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a point where the timber starts to creak and all of the whales are going to take their money and go. And all of the working class people who put their money in the stock market, because apparently the stock market only goes up, are going to be left holding the bag. We saw it happen before. This isn't new. This is something, this is a cycle. There's a boom bust cycle. There's a great film that I just recently watched called Smartest Guys in the Room, the Enron story. It goes into this kind of systemic con game whereby people hype up the market, and the same people who are pushing for things like deregulation, if you follow that kill chain up to the very top, these are the people cashing out $40-50 million before the market goes bust. And I Googled the word deregulation and Donald Trump. Trump basically got elected on the word deregulation to a certain extent. This administration is real serious about deregulation. It's not a coincidence that this stock market hysteria comes on the tails of that, because when you have fraudulent prices propped up, because there's nobody telling anybody not to do it, everybody gets involved because they think they can't lose. So it's really a cycle that's going over and over again. And we've seen it before. We all know how this ends, and it is some bullshit. And people are going to be living in fucking tent cities by the time the dust settles.
Well said.
Thank you very much. Welcome to my segment.
So I guess going along with all that, what are we going to do this week for a stock for the LOL Stockaments contest? How are we going to pick one this week?
Normally, the mantra is we let the guest pick. We didn't book any this week. I mean, Traderski's our honorary co-panelist, so if he has any ideas, we can go with that.
Traderski, why don't let's see what? Well, normally we've been picking stocks in terms of themes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I was thinking the Trading Places theme. So if Orange Juice Futures would make any sense, like I'm looking at one now. So
okay, hold on. I have an idea.
Okay.
Alex the intern, in that hypothetical Midwest city of yours that begins with a C, what is the biggest industry? What's the biggest company based out of there? And what name a big employer that
McDonald's.
What's the stock for McDonald's at?
have a look here.
The eternal question.
And MCD.
I think we should do something that's synonymous with a Midwest city with the subway and very heavy crime. That's near Indiana casinos.
McDonald's Corporation, currently at 204.60 on the New York Stock Exchange. I don't see how this ties in to Alex's city, and if Alex did suggest a stock that ties in, that would be some identifying information, which is the last thing we ever want to do on this show. Never would we let slip, what city Alex lives in, obviously. So
no. Well, okay, you don't like the McDonald's idea, then I mean, what do you want to do? Something that ties in with trading places?
I'm fine with McDonald's. Fuck it, if we want to go McDonald's for the week for a new car, that's the American way.
Well, okay, Trader Ruski had an idea. If you guys look at the chat, he thinks AMD is going to have a great week. Let's just.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Trader
think
Ruski.
they're going to do well over the next week. I don't know what announcements they have. I haven't looked at it that granular, but that's just another space where all their customers are selling tons of things.
Okay, well, you know what, Jason, you're the headmaster here. You're the guy in charge. You're the you're basically an old school G. What do you think? Do you want to go with AMD for the contest this week or McDonald's? Pick one.
Or Sears.
Or Sears. They're based in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Okay, out of those
they're
three,
based here, and there's a big tower that was named after them for a while, and they're trading at 14 cents.
There's some kind of retail sales tower in Cincinnati. Is this what you're telling me?
I don't want to say where, but it starts with a C and it ends with an O.
Jason, what do you think?
Gamble,
Could be
Jason, what do you think of those three choices, Jason?
So Sears is going to be rough because it's a miracle if it goes 1 point in any direction.
Yeah.
So you can just basically say 14 and like everybody's going to win.
Okay, so McDonald's or AMD?
AMD. I'm going to say we should get some eyes on AMD because AMD is going to do one thing or thing. Yeah.
Okay, so AMD it is. What is AMD at? Trader Risky, you're going to get your AMD in there. Thomas, what is AMD trading at right now on that New York Stock Exchange?
Let's have a look. AMD stock. Pull it up here for the viewers. Is currently at about 84.85 on the NASDAQ exchange. This is ticker symbol AMD. That's the one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So to recap, what do they win now? If they win the whole shebang?
All right, they're going to win.
Tell us.
I mean, here it is, guys. We're looking at it right now. This is a Mazda. What kind of a Mazda is this, Alex?
Oh, it's the Mazda 3.
Okay.
We show some pictures.
Yeah. I've got them up right now. The viewers can see what they're winning. Alex, please tell us all about this car.
It's a 2017 Mazda 3. Has about 6,000 miles. 12 runs. It has some scratches that will be buffed out, but yeah.
Wow, still runs. It's a Mazda 3. This music's kind of overbearing. And this can all be yours, guys. It might need a new coat of paint on it. There's some scratches you might need to buff out. A few parts. AC and radio still works, right? Or just the radio?
Yeah. Works great.
Okay. Might want to get a new tire on there or something. But, other than that, this baby runs good. So.
And this is not fake. This is my real car that I own that, could be.
And you have so generously donated it to this week's free roll. So go to LOLstocks.com. We're going to be guessing the ticker price of AMD. Okay. As it will, we're going to be guessing the price of AMD at close on Friday. So go to the forum. I already have a thread up. You can go in there right now and get your guess in. The deadline for that is Tuesday. And then next week on this podcast, we will announce the winner of this car and $50. On top of that, Alex has also donated his $25 that he won last week into this week's free roll, where we were already giving away $25. So you get the car and you get $50. Go to LOLstocks.com, and this baby can be all yours.
Wow. Amazing.
I mean, guys, we are breaking new barriers on this show. We're giving away fucking cars. We're doing insane cross-country prop bets. There's really nothing else out there like it. I love that we are just, pushing the boundaries of this medium. It's really quite remarkable.
Now, also speaking of LOL Stockmans, I had heard, Sonatine, just from some sources on the street, that you're going to be entering in the near future, sometime soon, LOL Stockmans into a trading contest. Is that actually true?
I'm representing the crew in the Alpaca Algorithmic Trading Competition.
Al-Qaeda what?
The Alpaca.
Oh, Alpaca.
Algorithmic Trading Competition.
Uh-huh.
And
that's the World Series of Trading. Is that the World Series?
For people who aren't in the World Series of Trading, it's absolutely the World Series of Trading.
And it takes place where? Downtown Binions?
Cleveland, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically it's like the Corn Palace of trading competitions for algorithms.
That's funny.
So yeah. So
what's the buy-in? How many tables do they normally get?
I lucked myself in. You know what I mean? Like I bought in from a satellite. And
when does it start?
It starts at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow.
And how long does it last?
2 weeks.
And what can we win if we place in the Al-Qaeda, what have you?
If I come in first, I believe it's a $150 Amazon gift card and probably selling my ALG to a Jersey hedge fund for like $5.
Oh wow.
Well, okay, it's not a free car, but it is something. Maybe
if any of our 1,500 loyal viewers want to actually sweat this, is there a way they can?
Yeah, I'll put some details up as soon as I get them. I'm sure there's going to be a leaderboard. Well, I'm not sure. I expect there's going to be a leaderboard. I honestly don't know. Like, I haven't gotten a lot of documentation about it yet. We'll play it by ear, but I'll make an official announcement about it tomorrow as soon as I get some more data.
Okay. Also in news going on with the gang here, although this definitely, without a doubt, unequivocally, is not a poker podcast, we do have some poker tie-ins because of our boy Thomas Seriously Serious. Last week he spoke of a pending grudge match, heads up online battle between Doug Polk and Daniel Negreanu. And this week, do we have some updates? What's going on with that, Thomas?
It's kind of weird. So I can tell you that I spoke with Doug yesterday, and I asked him what the deal is with this, because he tweeted, he was on Twitter, and he said that Daniel has not been responding to his messages. He's trying to iron out the details for this match. And by the way, guys, for anyone who doesn't know, Doug challenged Daniel Negreanu to a high-stakes, heads-up, no-limit hold'em match for a large amount of hands, which would, probably millions of dollars at stake. Big grudge match. Daniel accepted to play 200, 400, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000 to 25,000 hands. And that was a couple of weeks ago. In the meantime, Doug has been trying to, negotiate terms. How many hands are we going to play? What days are we going to play? What site are we going to play on? How's this going to work? Are we going to do this from home? Are we going to do this at some kind of live location? And Daniel, I can tell you, Doug told me he has not heard a response in about a week. Daniel has just been dodging him. So it's starting to appear that perhaps he's backing out, which would be very embarrassing, I have to say. Daniel wrote a blog that titled "Why I've Accepted the Challenge." He basically said booked. He very publicly wrote at length about why he's definitely going to do this. He laid out terms. Daniel Negreanu tweeted about how many, what stakes they would play. He negotiated 2 tables. He doesn't want to play 4. He wants to play 2 tables at a time. So yeah, I feel that if he were to back out of this now, it's basically welshing. And for somebody who prides himself on being a gambler that honors his bets, and someone who has spoken at length about having integrity, it's kind of, it's kind of lame. Kind of embarrassing.
Do you really think with all the trolling he's going to get if he does back out, you think that's really a possibility at this point?
I mean, it's looking like it, right? I mean, he is kind of ducking right now, so I don't really know what's going on. Maybe he's just busy, or maybe he doesn't want to deal with it right now. He is playing some online events for bracelets. over at
So
his.
he's out of the. So he's also out of the country.
He's in Mexico. Yep.
Yep. Well, okay. So along those same lines, I've heard on the street and from some sources there were some other developments. Didn't he have something to say to the beloved WSOP ESPN poker commentator Norman Chad? Wasn't something that developed between the two of them this week as well?
You know, he has just been wilding out on his poker streams, saying all kinds of crazy shit. I think we spoke last week a little bit about these meltdowns he's had, where he has these episodes where he gets very angry and can't help himself. He kind of blows up, threatens to break people's teeth and shove them into cavities, and he's breaking stuff, and he's screaming and he's scaring his dogs. And Norman Chad was on Twitter saying this is not really acceptable behavior, especially from one of our ambassadors. He expressed some disappointment in what Daniel was doing. So Daniel went on his stream the very next day and called Norman Chad a bunch of names and called him a dumb fuck and told him to mind his own business. And nobody cares what you think, and a bunch of mean stuff like that. Very odd. Around the same time, my friend Jamie went on a podcast and mentioned in passing that Daniel had gotten her fired from a broadcasting job, which she had told me about before. This is the first time mentioning it publicly. And it's true that he had intervened. She had been hired. She was about to go and do this broadcasting job. The day before the event was to take place, Daniel intervened and said, no, she can't do it. Get rid of her. And so they did. And he did this for petty, spiteful, personal reasons. Probably because she's done some work for Doug before and, helped him write jokes and stuff. So that was terribly disappointing. And then again, Daniel went on his stream like the very next day and ranted about how much she sucks and, and that she should take getting fired with more grace or something like that. The Jamie thing to me is deeply concerning because I know there are other cases of things like this happening. I know he's done this to other people, and a lot of people are afraid to speak out about it. And that creates a terrible, terrible environment where you feel like you have to appease this man, this guy who has power, and if you get on his bad side, he will vindictively pull strings and go behind the scenes to fuck with you and fuck with your career and, make it so that you can't get a job in this town anymore. And it's not just about him, though. If we all stand by and kind of let this stuff happen, other powerful people, other big name pros or other people with, positions of authority, if they get the idea that they can do some of the similar things to what Daniel has done, well, now you start getting into like a really creepy, the poker industry becomes Hollywood, right? Who knows what abuses people will do next. We could have some Harvey Weinsteins. It's just not a good precedent. People should really take notice and say, this is not okay. And that's my piece.
All right. Trader Risky, what are your thoughts?
I agree. I think especially for women in poker, that should be an extra reason why he should hold back and be supportive. And I think it's bullshit.
All right. Alex, the intern, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've been exposed to prejudices in your life because of your fashion sense. Go ahead and what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm curious what exactly happened with Daniel because, the old Daniel that we all used to know was not like this. So, I mean, what has happened in the last year or two?
There's a few theories. There's a few.
Okay, let's hear them.
So, Sonatine, you were never a poker fanboy anyhow, but real fast, your views, please.
Well, as a dedicated neo-Buddhist, I tend to find the middle path in all things. This being one of those instances where I condemn his behavior, but I'm also sympathetic to the fact that he's clearly a person in crisis. So I'm kind of, I want to kind of give him the opportunity to come out of the other side and look back on this and say, well, this was, something I was going through and I'm very sorry. That said, I'm hearing a lot of indications this is kind of systemic with him. So in that, on the one hand, I want to forgive him and give him the opportunity to grow. On the other hand, he should probably just be canceled and discarded. So,
and that's why neo-Buddhists are okay in my book. Thomas?
Yeah, I don't really know what his deal is. Like, you know, some people think that he's been working out a lot, and it looks like he lost a bunch of weight recently, perhaps to his detriment. But some people think he's taking some kind of testosterone replacement therapy, or perhaps steroids, and maybe this is indicative of roid rage. I've seen people make comments about he's newly married, and maybe that's being stressful or something.
Maybe he's having trouble in the bedroom.
I don't really buy that one. I don't think. I mean, unless it's bad. I don't know. I wouldn't speculate on that.
Well, Thomas, can you play a clip of Daniel kind of going off the rails?
Sure.
I sent one in chat.
Oh, great. Perfect. Okay.
This is his rant against Norman Chad, who's
I love that Norman Chad.
Yeah, he's
a
never done
beloved
anything
figure.
negative.
Norman Chad don't ever hurt nobody.
Yeah,
Even his 8 ex-wives will tell you that.
And before I play this clip, I should say, I mentioned this on Twitter myself the other day. Very odd to have vendettas against two of the most wholesome people in our community and industry. Jamie Kerstetter and Norman Chad are like two of the nicest, sweetest people if you ever get to know them. So you're probably doing something wrong if those guys are on your shit list. Anyway, here's what he had to say about Norman Chad. This is abridged, but
I want to tell this guy. I'm thinking like Norman Chad. I want to say bad things to him, but that's the thing. Is like sometimes I write out tweets all the time. I write it out and then delete. I've written out like 17 to him that I've deleted. You know, his obsession and his fucking preachy nature. Like, all he does is complain about other people preaching what their beliefs are, and all nonstop. He's a preachy motherfucker. Preach, 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 preach from this fucking perfect high top place. Listen, you don't like it. I don't give a fuck. I think I've made that clear. I don't give a fuck what you think at all. You are not my fucking mentor, my life guru. I do not follow your rules of living. You do you. You can say whatever the fuck you want to me, but I'm not going to listen to you, you dumb fuck. Enough. Move on to bigger and better things. Fuck you.
Actually, relatively tame compared to some of his more recent outbursts. But you know, not nice things just being said about Mr. Norman Chad.
There was no mention of his teeth or where he wants to put Norman Chad's teeth, so yeah, it's an improvement.
Yeah, he's working on it. Well, the third theory that I would bring forth is that he left PokerStars about 1.5 to 2 years ago, and I wonder if perhaps he's just always been like this, but he's, you know, kind of had to keep a lid on things because of that. But maybe
he cleaned it up for PokerStars, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, he's keeping it clean, but now maybe these new sponsors are less strict about things, so we can kind of just cut loose and just do whatever. Hard to say.
Was that on a GG Poker stream? Is that why the logo was there, or did you do that?
Well, firstly, this excerpt was from David Lappin on Twitter, host of the Chip Race podcast, and he cut this and he cropped this out from a stream. And the way Daniel streams is that logo does go right beneath his webcam feed, so that was not inserted or anything. That's just the way it came on the stream.
Interesting.
Yeah, listener in our chat asking if Daniel's on coke, and my guess would probably be no. You know, he's a vegan and he does care. He seems to care about his health. So,
but does cocaine come from animals though? Isn't cocaine vegan?
I believe, well, yes, cocaine is vegan, but it's not good for you. There are very few health benefits to ingesting cocaine, I believe. So, probably
at times.
Probably not in his stack. Probably not.
It could be Adderall. Adderall can affect your mood like that.
Maybe.
There's a lot of players on Adderall.
Well, hopefully next week you'll have some kind of update on this challenge, because I don't think it's going to be something where he can just kind of ignore him, tune it out, and there's not going to be repercussions, at least on the LOL internets.
I hope that the challenge proceeds. If anybody out there would like to bet, assuming it goes off, I'm interested in betting. So, you know, I'll lay you odds if you like Daniel's side. You know, if you think he's got a shot, I'll give you like 3 to 1 or 4 to 1.
So you'd say you'd give plus 400 for someone taking a Granu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that. And yeah, Doug's been trading. He's been playing some heads up today, and I talk to him every day. So if there's any new information, I'll I can spill it here on LOLstocks podcast.
Is there a line on whether it goes or not?
Now that would be an interesting line. I think it probably is going to go. He's acting like he's he's ducking it, but
I would
surely.
think you probably have to give him till the end of the World Series, right? I mean, just,
Yeah, exactly. I would think after making such a hard commitment to it that it will proceed. But we'll see.
Maybe he's off getting heads-up training. He's trying to brush up.
Well, he's been playing. Yeah, he was playing some heads-up tournaments.
There you go.
GG,
He wants a few months of practice before he starts.
I think he did fairly well. He cashed in one of them, so I don't know how that turned out.
He's still got to be a big dog against Hulk heads up, I would say.
You know, I'm still trying to get action, so I will say no more.
I won't. I won't press reaction.
Very interesting. Well, anyhow, this past weekend was it just concluded today. The PGA Championship, which is a major in golf. Did any of you gentlemen watch any of this over the course of the last 4 days?
I did not.
Little buddy?
You're muted, Alex.
Alex?
Sorry, I did not watch it, but I did see the trophy being given out.
How'd that go?
Well, apparently not too well. I just put the link in chat if Thomas wants to play that.
Yeah, let me have a look at this.
Huh. Trader Ruski, did you see any of the PGA Championship?
I did not see any of it.
And
Whoa! What happened here? What on earth? He's raising the trophy. People are. Oh, the lid fell off. Okay. I thought somebody threw something. It looked like something came flying, but it's just the lid. Looks pretty flimsy. This thing. What is the PGA Championship trophy made of? Do you guys know? Is that pure silver or what is that?
I don't know.
That's funny. It looks like maybe just the top flew off.
Aluminum, maybe? Silver, stainless steel?
Something.
Silver?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, anyhow, nonetheless, this is a very, very, very loosely veiled lead in here. There was a gentleman that was leading after round 2 named something Lee, L.I. Lee. And he was born, he's Chinese. And what makes this notable, in 100+ years of majors in golf, and that's PGA Championship, U.S. Open, British Open, and Masters, there's never been a Chinese-born golfer that's ever had a lead at all at any point. And he was midway through 36 holes, he was the lead. Now, what made this interesting was, Trader Ruski, maybe you can take a guess. Who was this golfer's primary sponsor, which enabled him to be in the United States or paying for his hotels and his food and everything that goes into traveling here to play on the PGA Tour and get into this PGA Championship? Who would you guess his sponsor was?
Well, since you're bringing it up and what's going on, I'd probably have to say TikTok.
Oh, wow, very good. And that's who it was. So an ESPN reporter asked him after round 2, and he was getting all this media attention, more than he's ever gotten, what was his opinion on what was going on with, the administration possibly banning it. And he just said, I don't know. And it was just funny. He said basically, I know nothing about any of that. And then that was it. I don't know if he really didn't have a clue or just didn't want to talk about it. So, but anyway, that leads us to this, because whether you like it or not, it's been all over the news. And I'm going to tell you, guys, even now, honest to God, I don't even know what TikTok is. I mean, I don't have it. I don't know. I'm going to guess. If I had to guess, if someone's like, I want to give you $1,000 if you can get somewhat close, I would guess it's like something like Snapchat, where people are posting short. Is that okay?
That's pretty close.
Someone here that knows, tell me what it is, and why would anyone? Is it? Oh, just okay. Thomas, do you know about this?
I'm vaguely familiar with it. I'm not the resident TikTok expert.
Alex, the intern, I'm going to bet you know something about this TikTok.
I mean, yeah, I think most people know what TikTok is.
Oh, no, they don't. No, you're wrong.
I think they do.
Sonatine, do you know about TikTok?
I know that Twitter is buying them, apparently, or trying to.
But do you know what TikTok? But do you know what TikTok does? Do you know the premise of it?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, I don't. Trader Ruski, do you?
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, it was primarily, kind of like a YouTube, but for shorter videos, kind of. But then they've shifted into more of being like a platform where you could create videos and then use them through other social.
It used to be. It used to be a lip syncing app. It used to be called Musical.ly, if you guys remember that, where it was primarily teenagers lip syncing pop music. But I guess it's branched out from there, and it's got there's a lot of memes on TikTok where like, and by memes I mean a template of video that everyone emulates and does their own take on. There'll be like certain dances that they kind of go viral, and like everybody does their own version of it. Kind of like, think like, to put this in like boomer terms, like an ice bucket challenge kind of a thing. Are things that are regular occurrences on TikTok.
Is that, Alex? Is that basically accurate? All of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think of it as it's like Twitter, but for short videos.
Right.
Isn't that what the Vines were? Wasn't there something else that had that Vines?
It's very similar to what Vine used to be.
Right, but Vine kind of stayed mostly, I guess, mostly within its own thing. I mean, I think what Twitter did, and they brought the guy in from Disney to run it less than a year ago, I think. And, and I think it is more like for people to use for other video and just make it easier creatively. So,
Alex the Intern, do you have a TikTok account? Be honest now.
I do not have a TikTok.
Be honest.
I don't have a TikTok.
Okay.
I have no interest.
Ruski, do you have a TikTok?
I don't think so. But for my company we do. But
okay. So anyhow, is it my understanding? Am I reading this right that there has been some claims that TikTok is taking our information for the purpose of supplying it to the Chinese government? Is that? I mean, I'm really not being sarcastic. I don't even know. Like, that's kind of what I've read, but I try to stay away from it because it's everywhere and it's just kind of obnoxious to me. But is that what everyone's in an uproar about? That apparently, if you are an American and you're using TikTok, the Chinese government can know that you're lip syncing and all that. Is that kind of the premise of?
Yeah, it also goes after stuff that's in your clipboard. It does a lot of weird, sketchy surveillance type shit.
It does keylogging, right?
Yeah, I don't have the particulars in front of me, but I know people who are really deep into the security sphere who looked at it and they were like, "This is malware." Like, that's all it is.
So this is proven then. This is not just like people taking shots and making accusations. Are these things proven?
The people who are on the side of calling it malware have impeccable credentials. Like, they're very, very good at their jobs. And curiously enough, the CIA are claiming that they have no hard evidence that it's linked to China, which is kind of a weird axe to grind because they're saying on the one hand, yeah, it might be malware, but there's no direct attribution. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. Perhaps the CIA rumor is like totally blown out of proportion. Could have been like one analyst making a hot take. But it's a complicated situation.
So as the official spokesperson of LOLstocks, Jason, what's LOLstocks' opinion? Are we anti TikTok?
I have that on my phone and I love it and it's hilarious and some of the greatest comedy out there. It starts out on fucking TikTok. Okay. I don't use my phone for anything sensitive. It's not. I don't consider it a trusted resource. So for me, it's just kind of like that said. I haven't used TikTok in ages.
So are we 2 thumbs up as long as we're using it from a phone that we don't care about? Is that what we're saying?
It's a tricky grind. It's like I'm uncomfortable endorsing it because it's people handle cobras. Well, cobras will fuck you up, but they still handle them. So I don't know.
That's a great analogy.
It really is. Can we put that in the intro, please? I want that in the intro next week. People handle cobras. Cobras will fuck you up. That's great.
Oh, that does remind me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, traders. This is very important. I should, to anybody watching, please take heart that all investment strategies and investments involve risk of loss. Nothing contained in this podcast should be construed as investment advice. So all the stuff we talked about before with AMD and McDonald's and Mazda, take it all with a huge grain of salt. Any reference to an investment's past or potential performance is not and should not be construed as a recommendation or as a guarantee of any specific outcome or profit. Do your own research. Be fucking careful out there, guys. And, don't sue us. Thank you.
Speaking of which, Amazon, and in a plot twist that we were all joking about 6 months ago, Amazon are buying all of these abandoned malls and they're turning them into distribution centers. Now, Simon's Property Group is like a commercial rental agency, basically. I made a lot of money shorting SPG on the way down during COVID when people stopped paying their rent. Whenever one of these big chains like Macy's, JCPenney's, they start talking about bankruptcy, SPG plummets. With Amazon buying all of these ghost town malls, there's a real opportunity here that SPG suddenly becomes profitable. It's already up today. The futures are up as well. So keep an eye on SPG this week. It could break out and do some really dramatic shit. It depends on the news that Amazon spins on the mall stuff. That could be a long time before we get any real concrete, directives. But I would dip a toe in SPG sooner than later, simply by virtue of the fact that they do directly benefit if Amazon actually does start renting out these properties from them. Or for that matter, even if they buy them, there has to be some sort of net up for SPG. So I don't know, something to watch out for.
You said Amazon's interested in these as distribution centers, right? Not for retail space. I know that Amazon has gotten involved in their cashierless retail points of sale, but you're saying these would be these would be like warehouses where fulfillment centers and such, right? Is that what you mean?
I wouldn't rule out retail. I mean, if you're buying Mall of the Americas, you're probably not going to fill up the whole fucking thing with iPods or whatever the fuck it is. You're going to want to parcel out the front 100 square, whatever, half of it for retail. And that would again lend itself to the theory that SPG becomes flush again. So either way,
and with Whole Foods too, right, Jason? I mean, that could be because even in LA, they had this. It was kind of like a to-go kind of Whole Foods. It was almost like they were trying it. It wasn't like a full Whole Foods, but you could go grab things off the shelves, and they had some groceries. So I'll bet those types of things and distribution, and could be interesting.
Amazon has basically committed to 2-hour delivery for a lot of places in the country. They commit to a lot of shit, so it's hard to tell what's just PR and what's actually going to happen. But I mean, they seem to have, Lord knows they've got the resources to make this happen. Turning up points of presence in abandoned malls could put them within striking distance. All of a sudden, a lot of other stuff comes into play. Drone delivery would probably.
Right, I was just saying
that was a gimmick, though, right?
No, dude. It's the FAA signed off on it last I heard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And all of these digital transformation things, 10 years has been pushed forward in the last 6 months, and it's exciting now.
I think it's oddly poetic that Amazon is largely responsible for the death of these, especially malls. Malls have been dying in this country a slow, painful death for quite a while. For Amazon to go in and actually buy them up is kind of a twisted poetry, don't you think?
It was a cynical joke we were all making in fall. It would be great if Amazon went ahead and bought all these parts of the country they laid waste to.
Now let me ask you, Alex the intern, if I had to give you an over/under date on the last time Sonatine was in a mall, what would you say the date would be?
Uh,
Because I haven't been to no mall myself. Well, okay, well, I don't want to give.
We know it's been at least a certain length of time.
Yeah, clearly before the pandemic.
But a date in a year.
Okay, I think even before the pandemic, he doesn't strike me as a mall type person. So I would say May 2019. Would be the last
way under that. No chance. I'm thinking 2012, 11, 10. You're thinking just last year?
I'll take the over 2012.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say 2012. I'll say he hasn't been to a mall in a good 8.5 years. I'll say January 2012. And you all can vote. That's the line I'm setting. January 2012, right after the Christmas shopping of two. Hold on. He had to. My read is this. He had to bring something back to a store in December of 2011. Okay, he said, "Fuck this. The lines are ridiculous. I'm not doing this. I just have to give it to Amazon, even though they're killing the malls." So January 2012.
It hasn't been more than 2 years. I'll say August 2018.
And are you kidding me? He hasn't left in almost a year. You think? Okay, all right, Alex.
I'm going a little over a year. I mean, also, mall is vague. I mean, mall can mean a lot of different
No,
things.
I mean a real mall.
We know what malls are. Like,
not like it has to have a food court.
It's not gonna be a strip mall. That's not gonna.
If it has an Auntie Anne's pretzel place, it counts. Okay, that's how I look at it.
It's got a Cinnabon. It's a mall.
Yes, exactly. Trader Ruski, what do you say, sir?
You know, I was originally going to say December 24th, 2019, just like a last minute Christmas present you forgot. But now I'm kind of wavering.
Well,
I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with that. But I do want to ask Alex if he's seen Pastimes at Ridgemont High.
We'll get to that in a second.
No,
Jason,
I can tell you no.
Everyone is dying to know, buddy. Now, just the last time you were at a mall, and again, it has to have an Auntie Anne's or a Cinnabons. You know, it's not a strip mall where there's like a sushi restaurant, and a dry cleaner, a real mall where there's an anchor store. You know what I'm saying? To the best of your knowledge, sir, when was the last time you were in a mall?
Spring of 2020, my parents and I went to an LA mall for an art gallery.
Everyone.
Spring of 2020?
Yeah.
So that was right before.
No. Sorry, 2019. Pardon me, I forgot. Yeah, 2019. So sorry. So sorry.
Let me just ask for those that lost to maybe make them feel a little better. Before that, do you remember how long it had been?
I mean, if we're being honest, the time that I remember before that.
Like, I guess what I'm getting at, do you go multiple years or half decades without going into a mall, or that's just ridiculous?
I'm not kidding. The last time that I can definitely sign off on was 89.
89. So hold on. So if his parents didn't make him go to some art gallery, that function didn't happen. We're going back to 89. I almost scooped the whole prize.
Wow.
That's how my read was.
That's a sick beat. That's a really bad beat, bro. I think
his parents invited him to an event. His parents invited him to an event, and if that didn't happen, we go to 89.
I think I win. By the way, assuming it's like March 2019, right? I'm 7 months off. Trader Ruski's like 9 months off. So
no, I said May 2019. I was
Alex won.
Oh, my bad.
Alex, the intern, wasn't even born then. The last time he went to a mall, he was close to being born.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Oh my
Jesus.
Lord.
Wow.
See, I knew my read was strong.
A strong read.
Yeah. Alex, well, now that we're talking about, when was the last time you were at a traditional mall? I bet it's been a while for you.
About a week and a half ago.
Oh, wow. Really? Even with all that's going on?
It was an outdoor mall, so it was okay.
What, do they have a Cinnabon or Auntie Anne's or the
It was a mall. It was by any definition.
What's that really good cookie place? But then, like, after you have two of them, you're sick of them. That they're in all the malls. Yeah, Mrs. Fields. Oh, 89. What was a mall like in 89? Can you even that's insane?
I can
describe it perfectly. It was about 3 years after you stopped being able to find video game arcades in malls, like ubiquitous, like across the country.
That's not true.
Every mall had extravagant stand-up video game arcades up until like 88, and then the wheels kind of came off and they started closing down.
I mean, I was born in 85, and as a kid, every mall I ever went to had some pretty sick arcades.
I don't remember.
Point of parliamentary order, I wasn't in a mall after 89. So...
Yeah, so how would you know? How would you know?
9. That's so awesome. I love this part of it, like when we all are doing our little bets on each other, because even though we all have known each other, in a lot of ways we don't. But my read was kind of close. You got to give me credit for that. I mean, I didn't. How would I know about the parents and the art event? That's amazing. In the news this week, guys, I don't know if you'll find this interesting. Maybe you won't. In California, in Trader Ruski's home state, a woman named Rabina Asti. That's Rabina Asti, age 99. Okay, was named officially the world's oldest flight instructor after she passed her test and actually took somebody on a flight lesson at age 99 for the first time. She's actually like a paid, hired flight instructor. Before her, the oldest record for an online, or for not online, the oldest record for a flight instructor was a guy from Iowa who did it at the age of 98, but unfortunately he died. How, Alex the intern? Take a guess. How did he die?
Natural causes?
No, plane crash.
Flight, yeah, okay.
No. So anyway, what do y'all think about that? Would you guys go on a plane? Like, say you like did all your stuff, and you're like, okay, I want to learn. If they bring out the woman who's 99, even if she only looks like 90, would you guys feel safe going up there with her?
Dude, I'm not getting in an Uber with a 95-year-old driver, let alone
99,
Yeah,
not
no.
95.
Forget it. Did you say your name was Robina Asti? I pulled up a Robina Asti, and it's a 95-year-old trans woman. I don't know if it's the same person you're talking about.
No, I'm looking at this. This is according to the UPI. She's 99. It's Robina, Robina.
Yeah.
And the last name is Asti.
Okay, no,
This
it's
is
the same person.
This is on the UPI news. This isn't like I'm getting this from some. I mean, I'll send you the link. Is it possible this is fake news?
And she's a transgender 99-year-old
Wait,
flight pilot?
is it showing she's 99 on what you're looking at?
Well, I mean, this might be from 4 years ago, but yeah, it's she's 95 in this, and yes, she transitioned in 1976. It said.
Doesn't say anything about this. Huh.
Yeah, maybe it's
Well,
just
you know
not,
what, if you
not
look-
relevant.
If you go, well, you know, I'm trying to think of how to. I mean, I'm looking at her. Like right now, I see a picture of her. Like,
It's on NPR.
Okay, someone post a. Can you send it in the chat a picture? I mean, I couldn't tell she's trans. I mean, she's 99.
Yeah, she is. 99-year-old trans woman.
See, it doesn't say that on the UPI.
Okay,
That's
well,
amazing.
it says it on YouTube.
Well, this is kind of Vegas news. I mean, I don't know how interesting this is. I guess it's kind of interesting. This family in Las Vegas this week. Let me find the article. Okay. A cat brought into a Las Vegas shelter as a stray was united with its family 12 years after going missing. That's kind of a feel-good story. It was brought into a vet. I mean, obviously, it probably lived with somebody, but they brought it into a veterinarian. They did the whole microchip thing, and it brought up an address, and they called the people, and they're like, we haven't seen this cat in 12 years. So
If that cat was living with anybody, then fuck those people that had the cat the whole time. Clearly, they never took that cat to a vet.
Well, wouldn't it have to be? Like, it couldn't have like lived on the street for 12 years and then like
They either knew that cat had an owner, right? If the cat was chipped, you know what I mean? The cat got scanned at some point. Either that, or either that, or the cat never saw a veterinarian. One of the two. Either way, you know, fuck those people.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
terrible.
a cat guy, so I can't really relate. Let's see, what else do we got here? There's not a lot going on.
Well, we are at an hour and a half, Brandon. So
we have 4 more minutes.
Okay.
I do have to say, I think it is funny to point out that Thomas's background is just so fucking hilarious.
All right, I got one more for us, and then we'll call it a show. This isn't really odd news, but it did make the AP, the UPI. So okay, basically, a 13-year-old swimmer became the youngest person to ever swim across the entirety of Lake Tahoe, from the longest point to the longest point. For those that don't know, I'll just tell you, it ends up being 12 miles, and he didn't have any help, didn't take any breaks. So a 13-year-old swam 12 miles straight, and he has a record. How long would everyone guess? How long do you think it takes for a 13-year-old, obviously in really good shape, to swim 12 miles without taking a break from one side of Lake Tahoe to the end?
I mean, a brisk walk would be like, what, 5 miles per hour? So it's probably a lot slower than that. Maybe like 1 mile per hour. So 12 hours.
All right, 12 hours you're with? Alex.
1 mile per hour.
Break it down for us, Alex.
1 mile an hour seems pretty slow.
Swimming's pretty slow.
Walking speed is about 3 miles an hour. I mean, I think you could do it at least as fast as walking.
Well, and you got to also take into account, this is probably a jacked up 13-year-old.
Oh, of course. I mean, yeah, it's not some, schmuck doing it.
Right.
I would say, like 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Okay. Trader Ruski, 12 miles, a jacked up. And by the way, his name is James Savage. Savage. Would that have changed your bet? Or your
Savage is good.
His last name is Savage. Trader Ruski, how long?
Ready?
I'm going to go with 3:49.
All right. And lastly, Salatine, Jason.
9 hours and 15 minutes because he's going to slow down as he goes on, but his last name is Savage, so he's not going to slow down that much.
The correct answer is 6 hours and 57 minutes. Who wins? Does Alex win again?
No.
I don't remember.
I think Jason.
It was a little less than 7 hours. So anyhow, good for him. This guy's Jason Savage, or James Savage. The next thing he has on his agenda is he wants to swim 21.3 miles from Cave Rock to Emerald Bay. I don't even know where that is. So anyhow, good for him. Anyhow, guys, you're right. Now we're out of time. It's been an hour and 30 minutes, which we all are dedicated to keeping the show to. So Thomas, just to recap real fast, what's the stock?
Oh yes. Okay, we are giving away a car. Giving away a whole an entire car. The car runs. The car works. The car is legit.
And $50 in gas.
Oh, I mean, okay, yeah, and $50. I mean, okay, $50, whatever. And a car. Go to LOLstocks.com. I've got the thread up here. Let me show you the thread. You can come in here, and we're going to make your guesses, guys, as to what AMD. The stock is AMD this week. AMD at close of Friday. You have until Tuesday at close to get your guesses in, and we'll be giving that away on next week's show. Hopefully, Alex doesn't win it again, but if he does, I'm sure he will generously roll it over to the following week.
And okay, you said Tuesday close. Before we were doing Tuesday opening bell. Did we change that?
Oh, is it Tuesday opening bell?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's what we have here.
Okay. Tuesday opening bell it is then.
Perfect. And Alex, any closing thoughts until next week, little buddy?
I'll see you next week.
All right, Trader Risky, closing thoughts, comments.
Hey, buddy.
Whatnot?
I'm good. Have a great weekend, everybody. Or great week.
Yeah, Jesus.
Sunday.
How many beers have you drank tonight? All right, then Jason
just
Sonatine, the CEO, the Grandmaster of all things LOL Stockmans. Your closing thoughts, sir.
Simon's Property Group, boys. Let's get in there.
Absolutely.
Get
And I'm
ready.
Peter worked this week, and until next time, we'll see you then.